we see the role of India as Vishwaguru. Today, India plays a very important role in the world. India may take also this leadership by involving and engaging Ukrainian agenda into discussions. The Prime Minister Modi, the travels of the National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval, and when he 3 times go to Moscow, of course, it's a matter of question if he would come to Kiev, and we also will be happy to welcome leaders and officials of India in Kiev. We see the role of India as Vishwaguru, like the arbiter of the world. This is the homeland of many of spiritual leaders. And for example, I've been in India many times visiting Puttaparthi, which is a small village near Bangalore, with my beloved guru, who is Sri Satya Sai Baba. And I think that this heritage is very important to the whole world. And this is that India can naturally bring, but then the basis of any spiritual teaching is justice. Without justice, we will not move forward. Without, love as a only one way how we can communicate with each other, but sometimes we have countries who choose war instead of love, instead of friendship, instead of neighborhood. And we have this kind of country. So I think that it's about all of us to deal with this, and India as a Vishwaguru can play a bigger role and a greater role in also this. We also welcome any effort that is directed at resolving the war. We are the most interested country to stop this war because our people have been killed. This is about all of us, and we in Ukraine really feel that it's our common responsibility to face this situation and to deal with this. I'm here with one very important message, that Ukraine really wants India and Ukraine come closer. Yes, we have different pages in our history. We had Soviet heritage, and there was a different stage of our relations within the Soviet Union. But now my country is gaining its independence, gaining its identity based on language, which is not Russian language, because we were forced to speak Russian language for decades, but we are striving to get Ukrainian language back, and it's very normal for any society. I know that you also have this rhetorics in your country, like a post-colonial way of thinking that actually made us all sometimes incapable of understanding what we really want. And only now India, I think, revealing this, I would say, idea or vision of itself. Exactly the same is happening in Ukraine. So we are now capable of being a subject, not the object, of being not a young brother, or someone, as an affiliated country, but really a country that is capable of borning its own vision of itself. So I think that it's time to, in a way, in a good sense, to restart our relationship. And I had wonderful meetings with the governmental officials, with expert community, while we say that India, also living in a very difficult conjuncture and also having different neighbors, especially with Pakistan and China, should also be pragmatic and balancing. In Ukraine, all of Ukrainian people are now experts in international relations. They closely watch the comments of different leaders, as well as the Prime Minister Modi, the travels of the National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval, and when he 3 times go to Moscow, of course, it's a matter of question if he would come to Kiev, and we also will be happy to welcome leaders and officials of India in Kiev, just to balance and just to kind of demonstrate pragmatic approach. Today, India plays a very important role in the world, not only in Indo-Pacific, not only in the global south. The presidency in G20 not only makes it a kind of a president, right, but also brings additional responsibility. We feel that Ukrainian agenda is something that impacts the whole world because it's a litmus paper that shows all of the drawbacks and flaws of the international system and incapability to protect sovereign countries whenever it's attacked by a stronger one. So I think that India may take also this leadership by involving and engaging Ukrainian agenda into discussions that would take place at the side events or sidelines or the events dedicated to the G20 or within summits of G20. So I think that my message here to the officials and to you is that let us make Ukraine more visible in India. Let us help Ukraine to tell its own story. Let us also bring India closer. We have lots of students of India in Ukraine. We used to have more than 20,000 of medical university students. Because of the war, now there is an online possibilities for the students, but we believe that people-to-people contact is the best way how we can communicate. And to conclude, finally, a couple of months before the full-fledged invasion started, we opened a monument to Mahatma Gandhi since 150 years of his birth. It was a very, I would say, emotional moment for myself. I was invited to be a speaker from the Ukrainian government, and I think that the heritage of Mahatma Gandhi is very acute in Ukraine when it comes to my people, Crimean Tatars, who have been deported in 1944 by Stalin decision when every second Crimean Tatar died in exile. And then for decades during the Soviets, Crimean Tatars have been fighting for the right to return to their homeland, and they used satyagraha, Mahatma Gandhi's heritage, by fighting for their rights without violence. And our leadership have been constantly saying that we have to fight for our rights without stepping on the rights of others. So India, in many ways, has a lot in common with Ukraine. And I think that it's a very huge and untapped potential for our bilateral relations, and I hope that my visit is only a start of that deepened and intensive dialogue.